In the history of human science, the name Isaac Newton is most often associated with the fundamental laws of nature, principles that have shaped the entire foundation of modern science. Yet behind the image of a rigid, rational physicist that we often imagine, there existed a completely different version of Newton, one who was deeply fascinated by alchemy, esoteric theology, and the ancient secrets he believed could unlock the ultimate truth. Newton spent the quietest years of his life immersed in studies that went far beyond the realm of pure science. He believed that ancient civilizations, especially Egypt, had once possessed metaphysical knowledge that far surpassed the understanding of the modern world. At the heart of this obsession was none other than the Great Pyramid of Giza, an enigmatic monument that has defied both time and human reason for millennia. Newton believed that the deepest secrets about the apocalypse, the workings of the universe, and even the ways in which God communicated with humanity were encoded in the proportions, dimensions, and measurements of the pyramid. He argued that by correctly deciphering the hidden inscriptions carved into stone, one could not only understand the past, but also foresee the future, including the prophesied end times described in the Bible. The key Newton sought was the cubit, the ancient Egyptian unit of measurement. In his view, the cubit was not merely a physical measuring tool, but a sacred scale, intrinsically connected to grand religious structures such as Solomon's Temple. Newton believed that by precisely reconstructing these ancient measurements, he could unlock the divine blueprint of the universe itself. Throughout his lifetime, Newton devoted more time and passion to alchemy and theological research than he did to pure science. Yet, living in an era when unconventional thinking could easily lead to charges of heresy, he kept these pursuits secret, preserving them only within private manuscripts, fragile pages that would only come to light centuries later. When Newton's secret notes were finally revealed, it became clear that he was not merely seeking a theory of everything, but was also yearning to recover sacred knowledge that had been lost to time. In 2020, 3 handwritten pages by Newton, filled with analyses of the Bible, the pyramids, and alchemy, were sold at auction for more than $500,000. What appeared at first glance to be mere scraps of paper, in reality, contained the deepest contemplations of one of humanity's greatest minds. Tragically, Newton passed away in 1727, carrying with him an unfulfilled longing. He never uncovered the final secrets of the pyramid, never decoded the date of the apocalypse, and never found the universal key to the cosmos he so desperately sought. Yet the spiritual legacy Newton left behind continues to challenge and inspire those brave enough to seek answers to the timeless questions he once dared to ask. The Magic Hand of Solomon, the Sorcerer King. Since ancient times, the world has passed down stories of individuals who possessed powers far beyond ordinary human limits. And among those legendary names, few have inspired as much awe and terror as Solomon, the king who came to be known as the King of Demons. In the Bible, Solomon is known as the great son of King David, the same David who famously struck down the giant Goliath with nothing more than a sling and a single stone. Solomon ascended to the throne as the third king of Israel and oversaw the construction of the first temple dedicated to the Jewish people. Yet, what the official scriptures recount is only half the story. According to ancient legends and forgotten esoteric texts, Solomon was not merely a great ruler, but a master sorcerer in his own right. Some scholars even believe that Solomon may have been the last true magician that humanity has ever known. According to ancient accounts, Solomon's extraordinary powers originated from a mysterious ring, a sacred artifact that granted him command over demons and bound them to his will. This ring was depicted as a 6-pointed star, an image that later became widely recognized as the Star of David, but arranged in such a complex, intricate manner that it was said to confound and imprison malevolent spirits. It was with this ring that Solomon not only defeated the forces of darkness, but also transformed them into unwilling laborers, tasked with building the great temple for the Lord Adonai. The image of Solomon's ring appears throughout the religious traditions and mythologies of both the East and the West. From Islamic folklore to European occult rituals, traces of this symbol can be found wherever the mystical and the divine intersect. One of the most detailed sources regarding Solomon's powers is the Testament of Solomon, a work believed to have been penned by Solomon himself. In this ancient text, Solomon recounts the strange and otherworldly events that occurred during the construction of the first temple. It is there that we find the poignant story of how he received the powerful ring. At the time, Solomon encountered a young boy who grew increasingly frail despite receiving ample nourishment. No one could explain the mysterious wasting away until Solomon discerned that an invisible demon was draining the boy's life force day and night. In a moment of desperate prayer, Solomon's pleas were answered. God bestowed upon him a ring inscribed with divine symbols. From that moment on, Solomon stepped into legend. He systematically subdued the dark spirits, compelling them to serve his will, and when their work was complete, he imprisoned them in jars and buried them beneath Jerusalem's grand edifices. What became of them afterward remains an enduring mystery. Some traditions claim that when King Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon invaded Jerusalem and destroyed the first temple, the seals were broken and the demons were once again set free. Even today, there are those who believe these entities still whisper in the darkness, sowing temptation, sin, and despair in the hearts of humankind. As for Solomon's ring, its symbol and power continue to endure in silence. The ancient marks once engraved upon it have now become cornerstones in many modern esoteric practices, utilized in countless dark rituals where the boundary between the human world and the unseen grows frighteningly thin. And so the question lingers, with the right incantation, the proper ritual, and the correct symbol, could someone today revive Solomon's power and summon the demons back from their eternal shadows? The ancient mystery behind the days of the week. In the rhythm of modern life, each day of the week passes by like a familiar heartbeat, an immutable part of our schedule that few ever stop to consider the deeper origins behind. Yet long ago, our ancestors believed that each day was far more than just a span of time. It was a spiritual key, governed by supernatural forces in the heavens. According to the traditions of ancient alchemists, astrologers, and philosophers, every day of the week was entrusted to a celestial body, and, through it, carried a distinct energy that influenced human mood, actions, and fate. Monday, assigned to the moon, does more than simply mark the start of a new week. It lays the emotional foundation for the entire journey ahead. Ancient peoples believed that the moon, with its gentle yet ever-shifting light, stirred within us vague, vulnerable, and elusive emotions. A melancholy Monday was never seen as mere coincidence. Rather, it was the effect of a tidal wave of the soul that ancient civilizations had long understood. Tuesday, under the dominion of Mars, became the day of action and conflict. Mars symbolized strength and courage, but also rage and explosive force. It was said that major decisions and great battles, both in personal life and on the fields of war, often had their roots in the invisible influences of Tuesday. Wednesday, the day of Mercury, opened the gates for communication, thought, and adaptability. In the ancient world, the clever, the negotiators, and the philosophers revered Wednesday as a favorable time to exchange ideas, craft plans, and negotiate important agreements. Thursday, ruled by Jupiter, was the day of expansion, both spiritual and material. Jupiter, the planet of luck and wisdom, nurtured generosity, tolerance, and growth beyond personal limits. Those who sought prosperity or wished to awaken their consciousness often chose Thursday to embark on their journey. Friday, belonging to Venus, carried the breath of love, beauty, and art. It is no surprise that Friday has long been associated with dates, artistic gatherings, and the tender moments when human hearts are most easily moved. Venus, with her gentle radiance, ignited within us the longing to connect and to share. Saturday, under the protection of Saturn, was the day dedicated to order, discipline, and reflection. Saturn does not bestow joy easily. Rather, it demands responsibility, maturity, and the ability to mend what remains unfinished in life. Saturday, then, is not merely a day of rest. It is a day for review, correction, and preparation for the journeys yet to come. And finally, Sunday, the day of the sun, became the time to celebrate life itself, to return to the primal energy that once nourished all ancient civilizations. The Egyptians and the cultures of Central and South America all revered the sun as a divine creator. Sunday became a day of joy, reunion, and most sacred of all, a time for humanity to step back from the relentless churn of daily life and turn their minds toward the light. Is it mere coincidence? Or is it the lingering trace of an ancient truth, where religion and astrology were once two faces of the same coin, where ancient humans understood that the life of the spirit and the life of the cosmos had never truly been separate? The esoteric keys to decoding the Bible. For thousands of years, humanity has read the Bible as a sacred text. Yet for those bold enough to venture deeper into the world of its sacred words, the Bible reveals itself as a mysterious labyrinth, where those who know how to navigate may discover hidden doors and secret messages woven between the lines. According to ancient esoteric traditions, to truly understand the Bible at a deeper level, one must possess certain mystical keys, special methods of decoding that transcend ordinary reading. These are not keys of gold or silver, but rather new ways of seeing, mysterious frameworks such as numerology, sacred geometry, and ancient astrology, tools that scholars like Isaac Newton, William Cooper, and the alchemists of old believed could unlock the deepest secrets of the universe. One of the earliest keys is the practice of mystical numerology. In the Bible, numbers are not merely quantitative values, they are sacred symbols, each carrying profound layers of meaning. Take, for instance, the number 7, a symbol of perfection and completeness. In the Bible, the number 7 appears over 600 times, saturating the narratives and rituals alike. God created the world in 6 days and rested on the 7th. The 7 seals, 7 trumpets, and 7 bowls of wrath in the book of Revelation. In ancient thought, the number 7 marked divine completeness, the immutable heartbeat of God within the visible universe. Or consider the number 153, a seemingly small detail, mentioned only once in the New Testament, when Jesus instructed the disciples to cast their nets, resulting in a catch of exactly 153 fish. To the casual reader, it might appear trivial, but to esoteric scholars, 153 holds cosmic significance. It was once believed to represent the total number of known species of fish in antiquity, serving as a metaphor that God's call extended to all nations, excluding no one. And then there is the number 666, the number of the beast, as described in the book of Revelation. From an esoteric perspective, 666 is not merely an abstract symbol of evil, but carries specific encoded meanings. Many scholars have pointed out that when the name of Emperor Nero is transliterated into Hebrew or Greek, the numerical values of the letters add up precisely to 666, a subtle indication that his reign was a foreshadowing of the dark forces that would continue to plague human history. Esoteric scholars also believe that geometric patterns, such as the sacred proportions mentioned in the construction of Solomon's temple, contain encoded messages. Measurements made in cubits and the intricate diagrams hidden within descriptions of the New Jerusalem in Revelation are thought to point toward even deeper mysteries. Even astrology played an indispensable role. In ancient worldviews, the movements of the planets were regarded as a sacred language. Many esoteric scholars believe that the great events prophesied in the Bible, from the apocalypse to the resurrection, were reflected in specific astrological alignments, hidden within the metaphors and parables of sacred scripture. And most astonishingly, it was not only alchemists and occult scholars who embarked on this quest. Even geniuses like Isaac Newton devoted their lives to decoding the Bible's hidden keys, believing that the deepest truths of the universe were not contained within scientific formulas, but within sacred ciphers awaiting the right interpretation. Perhaps for those keen enough to see, the Bible is not merely a religious chronicle, but a treasury of divine codes, a grand cosmic game between God and his children, where the reward is not given to those who read with worldly eyes, but to those who dare to read with the heart, with an awakened mind. Archaeological evidence, when the Bible is carved in stone. For centuries, the question of the Bible's historical authenticity has fueled an endless debate among scholars, believers, and skeptics alike. Were the grand stories recorded in the sacred text merely myths woven from imagination? Or did they conceal a core of truth buried beneath the thick dust of time? For much of history, the skeptics held the advantage. They pointed out that many characters and events described in the Bible lacked confirmation from any sources outside of religious texts. Names such as King Balak were long regarded as nothing more than legendary figures, no more historically real than King Arthur or Gilgamesh in their respective traditions. Yet, as with all ancient stories, reality sometimes finds its own way to speak. In 1868, amid the ancient ruins of Dibon in Jordan, a town also mentioned in the Bible, archaeologists unearthed a massive basalt stele, now known as the Mesha Stele. Etched into its weathered surface, in an ancient script, were lines recounting the victories of King Mesha, who claimed to have defeated the armies of Israel. On a section of the stone that had suffered heavy damage, scholars made a startling observation. 3 surviving characters, beginning with the letter B, could point to none other than King Balak. If this hypothesis proved correct, the Mesha Stele would represent one of the rare archaeological pieces that confirm the existence of a figure from the Old Testament outside of biblical scripture. Although the evidence remains incomplete, the discovery sent shockwaves through the academic world. It suggested that at least part of the Bible might reflect an actual historical landscape, rather than being merely a collection of symbolic tales. And this, in turn, leads to a deeper question. If a figure like Balak can be traced and verified through a weathered stone, how many other stories, how many other characters, still lie hidden beneath the layers of time, waiting to be uncovered? For if the Bible is the echo of a once living history, then the accounts of angels, of giants, of a great flood engulfing the world, could they too be rooted in truth? Or, like so many ancient legends, is the Bible both a mirror reflecting real events and a symbolic tapestry where myth and reality are inseparably woven together? Whatever the answer may be, one thing remains certain. The silent stones, the ancient inscriptions, and the mysteries yet unsolved continue to beckon us onward, to pursue the truth, where each fragment unearthed is not just a relic of the past, but a key unlocking new stories yet to be told. If today's stories made you pause, even for just a moment, to wonder about the mysteries still hidden behind the veil of time, then don't hesitate to share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you would like to continue joining us on these journeys to uncover the untold mysteries of the world, be sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Thank you so much for listening, and we look forward to seeing you again in the next story.